What's up, everybody? My name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today is Thursday, February 24th. And yes, we're going to be talking today about the crypto market, how it's being affected by what's happened yesterday, which was due to Russia invading Ukraine. Now, I want to provide a lot of different case analysis and analytics around this, and also share with you how to best prepare yourself, and also zoom out and see the history of how the crypto market reacts to geopolitical events like this. And so I think this video is actually going to be very helpful for you. So be around, stick around till the end, because this is going to be very informative and it will help you decide if you're going to be buying, selling, or holding. Make sure to smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel, join our Patreon page, and don't forget to avoid any of those scammers down in the comments below. I will never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, email, or direct messaging. So please be careful and invest safely. Now, let's get started. So as we know, since yesterday, the market has dropped 7.85%. That has brought it from $1.8 to $1.6 trillion. Now, I am actually quite surprised the market hasn't even dropped further just because of this, which shows to me that the crypto market isn't actually affected that much at all. Now, what we need to focus on just one coin and one coin only. That is going to be Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the king of crypto, but also Bitcoin determines where the market's kind of headed in the crypto atmosphere. Now, right now it's around 35,000. Just yesterday it was around 37. Again, it doesn't feel like it's dropped that much at all. Now, if you look at the fear and greed index, we're still at 23, so it hasn't really changed that much. But still 23, I do expect this to change within the next 5 hours to say around maybe the 19s, the 15. So I expect really extreme fear to happen at this point, but that's completely normal. This happens when we want to buy the dip, which we buy the fear, and then we sell in the greed, right? You guys are smart like that. So I want to show you this chart that was shared by one of my friends, Naj. So Naj, shout out to you. Thank you so much for sharing this article. So this is a reaction towards how geopolitical events are affected in terms of the stock market reaction. So as we notice the history of different geopolitical events, we notice one thing and one thing only. As things have a drawdown and have a bottom in reaction to these war events or these battle events, the recovery comes out twice or three times as strong. That is helpful for you to understand where you stand in terms of the stock market, but most importantly, the crypto market. But I do believe the crypto market is in a different stance because it is non-centralized, it is global. So I want to share with you what's going on in the world and maybe give you a sense of what we could expect down the road. So as we know, Putin did launch his attack yesterday in Ukraine. It was around 5:23 a.m. in Ukraine time. And when I was watching the TV, yes, I was hearing bombs near Kiev and everybody was just frightened. And guys, we have to be very supportive of the people of Ukraine. Right now, they're going through an inconvenient time with their neighbor Russia. So please, if you have any friends or family out there, please send them your best wishes. And possibly if you need to support them, sending Bitcoin, that could also be another way as well, because who knows if they're going through financial hard times. So just be aware of that, and this is happening right now as we speak. Now, when markets sound the alarm on Ukraine, the Ukrainian market does have this reaction to the S&P 500 because it closed in the correction territory with all 11 sectors down. So with consumer discretionary, it fell negative 3%, energy was negative 1.5%, and material stocks was around negative 1.4%. Now, technology and consumer discretionary stocks tend to be the biggest casualties during risk-off days, and in general, they struggle the most in a higher interest environment due to relatively high valuations. Now, historically, geopolitical events like this tend to be very short-lived. Either conflicts happen or it doesn't. The uncertainty causes traders to get fatigued and throw in the towel to sell, which I understand. Again, leverage traders and traders nonetheless do tend to react, and they tend to predict how the market's going to be in the future, but they do this to protect their investors, but they also do it to protect themselves. So we may have already experienced a bottom at that point. So with that said, we got to look at the hash rate. This is the Bitcoin hash rate, and what I mean by hash rate is these are the mining facilities that are producing the amount of Bitcoin. So right now, as you can see, we're at this point right now. As you can see, we are actually breaking new all-time highs in terms of hash rates. But I want to share with you one thing. This right here was a reaction towards when China banned cryptocurrency and Bitcoin within its territory. So we literally had dropped significantly, but we've rebounded from there. Could we experience something like that I personally don't believe so. Again, none of this is financial advice, it's just my own financial opinion. One thing I want to share with you is this chart, and this will tell you why I don't feel like the hash rate is going to fall. It's mainly because who controls the amount of Bitcoin mining facilities. And right now, ever since the China ban, which happened in May of 2021, it has shown that right now, the US is dominating in that space. US is in this blue territory, this blue block right here, and it's growing substantially. And ever since that China ban, right, which is this light blue line, it's actually diminished to zero. Competitor, which is the gray area, that is Russia. Russia has the opportunity to take over the Bitcoin mining facilities, but they aren't leading. US is leading in that territory. So I don't think the war in Ukraine is going to affect the Bitcoin mining hash rate at all. And so that's something that you guys need to keep in mind when the market is moving volatile like this. Now, I want to share with you this article. Ukraine already trades more crypto than fiat currency. Now, assets like Bitcoin are officially legal. This was published on February 18th. Now, the Ukrainian parliament passed a bill to legalize cryptocurrency, preparing a framework for the regulation and management of digital assets like Bitcoin. Now, Ukraine's parliament did originally pass this bill, but the president Zelensky did not want to go along with this. He thought it was just not like there's not enough money to provide the regulatory system to manage these cryptos. So now the new version of the law on virtual assets, which passed the parliament, puts crypto regulation under the oversight of the National Commission on Securities and Stock Market. Now further down, the government officials are hopeful that the new law will attract more foreign investment into Ukraine's burgeoning crypto market, although fluctuating tensions with the country's less crypto-friendly neighbor, Russia, might put a damper on capital inflows. Besides the threat of war, Russia's economic heft and its ambivalence toward cryptocurrency might overshadow Ukraine's openness. Russia remains one of Ukraine's largest trade partners, and the Russian central bank is developing its own digital currency while pushing for a ban on cryptocurrency. Now, this is something I want to share with you guys. Russia right now, I feel, is not trying to ban cryptocurrency at the moment. You know why? It's because there's two different departments within that field. I feel the reason Ukraine has legalized Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is because they need to have a backup, right? If the majority of Ukrainians are using cryptocurrency, then they need to put their money into a safe asset where they can travel and be able to travel without a centralized bank. Because if you have centralized banks, you will have problems transferring money. A bank can freeze your funds. A bank controls your money, basically. But if you have custody over your assets, over your cryptocurrency, it's easy to send money and also take money with you as you travel in case you need to leave Ukraine. And that's the reason why Ukraine, right now, 12.7% Ukrainians own cryptocurrency. It is estimated that over 5.5 million people own cryptocurrency within Ukraine, and is ranked first worldwide for the adoption of cryptocurrency. And they have sent 8.2 billion worth of cryptocurrency and received 8 billion worth from July 19th to June 2020. So it's showing you that they are using this most likely to decouple from Russia's dependency. They are trying to develop a relationship using cryptocurrency to send money and receive money by foreign investment or foreign exchanges. Now, Russia, on the other hand, has a different plan. Now, they are going to be using cryptocurrency, I believe, because the US has filed sanctions within Russia and around Russia. So you need to know that they are planning to invade these sanctions by possibly creating their own digital currency, which is the digital ruble, and maybe using cyber attacks and ransomware in order to have funds sent to them digitally. So you have to keep this in mind. Russia may be using Bitcoin to funnel and send out cryptocurrency because, again, it's decentralized. They are able to avoid dealing with their own banks. And this is the problem within their own country, is that they are fighting with their own governments, their own banking facilities, because their own banks are actually against Russia using cryptocurrency, but they're still continuing for it, and they filed bills to create a framework around it. So they don't really, Russia's doing exactly what Russia wants to do. They even want to avoid their own banks. They're even having conflicts within their own banks. Now, this is a great example. So Russian government introduced a crypto bill to parliament over central bank objections. And this is what I'm talking about. They don't want this to happen. They basically want to stop this whole thing from happening. But again, the banks aren't going to win this, unfortunately. They have no control over this. And so that's why Bitcoin is definitely, I think, set to do really well in reaction to this, because if you think Ukraine and Russia trying to use Bitcoin as a legal tender or just a form of currency to hold your assets, this is why I think Bitcoin is situated really well. And traders and venture capitalists, family offices, even institutions holding these funds in the United States and around the world, they're just overreacting. And because of that, I think Russia and Ukraine are going to take advantage of that, and possibly other smart money is going to take advantage of that as well. Now let's talk about what's going on in social media. As you can see, this is the Bitcoin chart right here. And notice something, the spike between the keywords in social context and social trends. When you use the words Russia and crypto or Ukraine market war, we've seen that this has been responding quite high just within the past couple months. Just looking at this shows you how things are reacting on the social volume. And the same thing happens on Telegram, Reddit, and Twitter. You need to understand this because you need to understand how Bitcoin is reacting to this. But also, in my point of view, Bitcoin is actually positioned to help either the Ukrainians, the Russians, or the United States. That's just my own perspective. Now, let's look at the social trends, and this is all from sentiment.net. This follows the cryptocurrency market and the crypto trends, which is really helpful for you to understand where the market is headed. And just today, the keywords are war, Ukraine, Putin, Russia, Russian invasion. These are the top 6 social trends within the crypto market. And look how it's booming since then, because people are concerned, how is this affecting the crypto market? But not only that, there are possibly people who are in the cryptocurrency space, possibly in Ukraine or Russia, that are looking towards this as a possible safe asset. And they're educating themselves of what they need to do in order to store their money. Remember, there are a lot of people in Ukraine, around 12%, that are using cryptocurrency. Now let's look at the market. The reason I want to show you this chart is really important. So we have to zoom out and understand what events have happened that leads to these drawdowns, to these very volatile dips. So I'm going to start here at the very beginning at the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, as you see on the overall chart, it looks like it's just a mere blip. But at that time, we went from 8,000 all the way down to 2,000 to 3,000 in that dip. And because of that, we fell around negative 60% because of that reaction. Remember, this is when the whole world shut down. That means everything, it's almost worse than war, because stock markets had to stop, people couldn't leave their house. So that was actually one of the worst times that we experienced, but we only dropped negative 60% compared to negative 80% that we experienced in 2018. So keep that in mind. That is actually what happened. And as you can see, we were always going to go up at that point. But people were fearful, and as you can see, you have to follow this line right here, because that's where our emotions are. That's where society is. And we were underneath this green uptrend, this green support line. And what we were doing, we were trying to figure out what we're going to be positioned in the crypto market. And then all of a sudden, not only did we skyrocket, but we reached new all-time highs around the 60,000s. And then all of a sudden, Elon's tweet, where he said he was going to not accept cryptocurrency, aka Bitcoin. He was not going to accept it as a form of payment, because earlier on, he did mark that he was going to be accepting Bitcoin as a payment for his Teslas. And then here, it all started. He said that cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, especially Bitcoin, the proof of work model was not energy efficient, and so we started to take a dip down. And then all of a sudden, the China ban on crypto took a dip down, which we saw in the chart in terms of hash rates. And we fell only negative 49%. Think about that. Now, when we took that dip, people were fearful, and I remember at that time, people weren't sure where cryptocurrency was. But guess what? If you follow this channel, we bought in at around this price. We always buy the dips. And not only that, we reached a new all-time high. But then a new narrative was showing up, and that was Jerome Powell, who's part of the Federal Reserve. He announced that early on in November that they were going to introduce the first 3 months of 2022 possible rate hikes and inflation. Because of that narrative, look what happened after that. We experienced months and months of delay of what's going on with the rate hikes, what's going on with the inflation, and they delayed it. And because of that, traders and possibly other retail investors and institutions were preparing for the worst. And what happened was the market kept taking a dip. But if you're smart like this, you do not sell. You do not, if anything, you just buy. You just buy these dips and you keep buying. And this is why you have to have money on the side. And you can't be investing all your funds all at once, because you have to zoom out and see how things react. So right now, because of that reaction, all the way down to this point, we fell again only negative 49%. Interesting. Could we fall to negative 60%? Possibly. But right now, this is the Russian war against Ukraine. And this is how the market is reacting. Now, if we look at the sell volume, it's not that high compared to back here. You see this red line right here? This is the China ban and Elon Musk tweet, and we dropped significantly. Even looking over here, if we look at this side, we saw another huge sell button. Right now, we're at the Russian war. We're not even at that point. We haven't even reached a selling price of this volume. Interesting. This is why you need to learn about charting. This is why you need to watch other videos, because if you're not informed, you're going to sell. But right now, I'm not seeing that. And who knows what's going to happen moving forward. But I want to share with you two different tweets from two prominent people in this industry. I think you need to know this from their own perspective. Now, I want to address Vitalik Buterin first, who is the founder, CEO, the person who created Ethereum. I want to share with you his insight in terms of what's going on. Now, very upset by Putin's decision to abandon the possibility of a peaceful solution to the dispute with Ukraine and go to war instead. This is a crime against the Ukrainian and Russian people. I want to wish everyone security, although I know that there will be no security. Glory to Ukraine. If you don't know, Vitalik is actually from Russia. Now, this is a person who is really thoughtful. He cares about the people first. We shouldn't be thinking about the crypto market. We should be thinking about the people. Because again, Ukrainian people, their lives matter most. And you as an investor need to step out of your greed zone and start thinking about anybody in Ukraine that may needs help. So if there is friends, family, or if you think you need to support an organization, or if you can support a family and they're reaching out for help, always do your research, making sure that they're not scammers, but be sure that you can support the right people. Because maybe they're going through financial hardship, and that's where Bitcoin falls in line. And that's why I think Bitcoin could do really well, because people are going to use Bitcoin to send as funds to their own people, to support people within Ukraine. So that's why Bitcoin can actually help people in that way. Now, the last thing I want to show you is from, nonetheless, Sam Bankman-Fried. Sam Bankman-Fried is the CEO, founder of FTX, and he couldn't put it down any better than this. Now, in the last day, the S&P 500 is down 4%, and Bitcoin is down around 8%. Now, it makes sense that stocks are down. War is generally bad. What should Bitcoin be doing here? Well, on one hand, if the world gets, people have less free cash, basically selling Bitcoin along with stocks, etc. to pay for war. On the other hand, this is likely destabilizing the Eastern European currency and more generally for the Eastern European financial systems, which means they may be looking to alternatives. That's what I'm talking about. If you were to look at Ukraine right now, where would you trust your money? Exactly, Bitcoin. Now, guys, the reason I'm sharing this all is because simply one thing. Should you be buying, selling, or holding? Now, if you have money, like me, I'm buying these dips because I always have money set aside. Now, should you be selling? If you need money and you need to pay for your bills, possibly if you want to do that. I'm not advising you to do that. I'm not a financial advisor. This is only financial opinion and entertainment. Now, if you sell, you're selling at a loss. Know that. So you need to figure out either to make money on the side, or if you really need that money to pay for your family's bills, then that's what you're going to have to do. Should you be holding? Absolutely. I hold all my assets, even if I don't have money. If you don't have money, just hold it. Because patience equals wealth. That's always worked in the cryptocurrency market. You know why cryptocurrency is better than stocks? It's because cryptocurrency is based on fundamentals. Simply just that. Fundamentals. Stock market, bonds, everything else is based on ancient, decades, centuries, year-old strategies. I mean, this is just simplistic. Cryptocurrency is just fundamentals. And so that's why I think Russia, Ukraine, and US are going to be using Bitcoin, and why every one of those three countries are pushing to put more clarity around cryptocurrency. So that's my own point of view, and I hope that this video has helped give you a sense of clarity and trust within the system of cryptocurrency, and hopefully it's guided you into making a decision for yourself. But guys, I'm not fearful. I always buy the dips. I don't care how low it goes. I always buy the dips, because no matter what, I'm always going to be in profit later on. So guys, with that said, let me know your thoughts down below. How do you feel about everything going on in the whole atmosphere of cryptocurrency? And Are you able to support people in Ukraine? Because our hearts go out to them. And please, please pray for Ukraine. They need our support. And hopefully this could all be over soon. So guys, be sure to smash up that like button. Be sure to join the channel. And most importantly, don't forget to join our Patreon page. And I will see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching Cryptolution. Register on our Patreon page for our insider training tips and more. And don't forget to click on the affiliates link below to receive sign-up bonuses and access the Global Crypto Assets Exchange. Invest safely, and we'll see you on the next episode of Cryptolution.